Well, it's been a significant change in the days, when I was young. I did mainly, you know, pencil sketches, the, or watercolors, because I was originally from the theater, and all scene designs usually are done with watercolors. So those were very, very prominent. And the advent of computers, there became more computer rendering and things like that. And in today's visual, you know, today's, hunger for visual imagery, this has sort of taken over. I'm not that fond of it because I think you're missing. It's an attempt at realism that has not yet to be, that is not yet achievable, and that the impression one gets from a watercolor rendering or a pencil sketch is probably a better indication. The computer rendering is so almost photographic that the client gets an image of that. If the final project doesn't look like that, or his impression of that, he'll be disappointed. Whereas the other has such latitude that generally you get more satisfactory responses. We become a lot of people, not everybody, a lot of, in general, people become dependent on computer calculations and other things, and they're very time consuming. Whereas I can calculate a job almost in my head using rules of thumb, and if I don't like what what that brings, I can always modify quickly, because it takes me a minute or two to recalculate the whole thing and get it in balance. Then, at the end, you can do a computer calculation and see how close they came. If it's not close, then we try and figure out where we made a mistake with the computer, not with the rule of thumb. The rule of thumb will be close. There's a significant difference. The computer made an error. So a lot of people will do dynamic computer, moving computer images and show that. That gives you an impression again. It does not give you a real feeling of what's going to occur. So depending on the scale of the project and the importance of the piece, I would do a mock-up, a full-size mock-up for a test. And there's all kinds of things. I had full-size mock-up for that. You don't need it to be there. There are so many places and space existing that may not look anything like it, but at least they've got the spaces are similar. You've got the same dimensions, so you walk in and you feel it. It is a very tactile. It's very tactile, it. You may not actually, but it has a tactile. I believe, or I always have believed, from my student days in the theater, if the ballet master could write down the ballet, if the music master could write down the music, I should be able to write down the lighting. In whatever notation system that was required for the moment, you do it. And it's really important to write that down, the same as I said, it's important to leave some written thing for the client. You have to write that down, because you may forget when you come back to work on it what it was you were trying to do. But if you have some means of noting it, and I do, I make whiz-bang sketches. They're kind of not well done, but they're fast, and they're a notation system. They're a communication tool, and they communicate. I use those to communicate with the client,